Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Soumya and this is the part 4 video on cell signaling. In the previous video we started with the signaling mediator. You can look at here. We studied about signaling mediators. In that we have 5 signaling mediators, that is effectors, adaptor protein, secondary messengers, protein kinases and transcription factors. And we have started with effectors. Okay, in effectors again we are going to get the two types, that is effector enzymes and effector ion channels. Effector enzymes we have studied in the part 3 video. So if you didn't watch that video, you can go back and watch it, and which is very helpful to understand this whole cell signaling chapter. Thank you. Now we will continue with the next type, that is effector ion channels. Okay, here effector ion channels, these are also signaling mediators, and some effectors are ion channels. Okay, some effectors are ion channels. What are ion channels? These ion channels are nothing but the pore forming membrane proteins. Okay, so these will help in the movement of ions in and out of the cell. Okay, for example, make you to understand here, think this is the plasma membrane. Okay, this is the plasma membrane. I'm drawing a rough diagram here. I'm hoping that this will help you to understand what are ion channels. Okay, ion channel, we know that channel, it's a common word you might have known. Channel means something, channel will be like this, and this will help to pass the water or something like that, right? So like this only, these ion channels are pore means hole. Okay, pore forming membrane proteins. These will help in movement of ions, okay, from outside to in, or from inside to outside. Okay, like this. This is the function of the ion channels. Here what we are studying about the signaling mediators. Here some effectors are ion channels, and again these effector ion channels are further classified into two classes. In that we will study the first one now. First one, here some receptors themselves are effector ion channels. Okay, here you can see in the diagram here, make you to understand this type of effector ion channel. Here what they are saying, some receptors themselves are effector ion channels. Okay, here some receptors are themselves, even receptor itself is a ion channel. Okay, these receptors have intrinsic ion channel activity. Okay, so those are called as effector ion channels. Means nothing but here receptor itself is going to act as a effector ion channel. That means that it is going to acts as a signaling mediator. For example, to understand, I will just give a quick recall here. See, we studied about the effector enzymes. Okay, in that what we studied, even some receptor is going to itself, they are going to act as a effector enzymes. Okay, so like this, because they have intrinsic effector enzymatic activity. Like that, these are also same, but here ion channels, here with not the enzymes, here ion channels. Okay, so example for this is nicotinic acetylcholine receptor ion channel. This is the effector ion channel. Okay, next one, the second type. Here these effectors are ion channels, and they are distinct and different from receptors, but receptors may be connected to these ion channels via coupling proteins or adaptor proteins, or by secondary messengers. Okay, for that I will make you understand. Actually this one is very easy to understand if you study about this first type, effector enzymes. Okay, effector enzymes, instead of the word enzymes, here ion channels we are using. That's it. Okay, so so you can look at in the diagram, other message, the second type and first type is very similar, but here instead of enzymes, here ion channels. Okay, so watch that previous video so that you can understand this in even more better and more easily. So no worries, I will explain this type here now. Here these effectors are ion channels. Okay, these effectors are ion channels and are distinct. Okay, they are means different, you can easily find out. Okay, and they are different, okay, from receptors, but these receptors may be connected to these ion channels via coupling protein or adaptor protein or secondary messengers. You can look at in the diagram here. So this is the receptor which I have drawn here. This is the receptor and this is the ion channel. Okay, So these, as I said in the definition here, these ion channels or these effectors or ion channels are distinct and different from the receptor. So receptor in the, you can see here, they are different and they are distinct, okay. But these two are connected, okay, these two are connected by a coupling protein, or adapter protein and secondary messengers. Okay, for that example is G beta gamma inhibitor activates a potassium channel on cardiac muscle. Okay, this is the effector ion channel, the second type of effector ion channel. Next one, we will move on to the next one. And in turn, these effectors, okay, what we have studied, effectors means signaling mediators, which are of two types, that is effector enzymes and effector ion channels. These effector are in turn, they are going to transfer the info or information to further signaling mediators. We know that there are 5 signaling mediators, right? So again, after the effectors, these are again the information is moving to the another signaling mediator. Okay, now we will learn the second type of signaling mediator, that is adaptor proteins. Now the question is, what are adaptor proteins here? So no worries, I will make you understand very easily. Here is the definition: a component that receives info from a receptor, okay, from a receptor or from a receptor with effector enzymatic activity or receptor linked to effector enzyme and transfers info to further signaling mediators. We know that that we learned this. So we have the normal receptor here in the diagram. You can see here, this is the transmembrane or plasma membrane. Okay, so on the plasma you can see you can find out the receptor here, normal receptor, and next type of receptor with, you can see here, effector enzymatic activity receptor. Okay, so this is the one more type of receptor, and this one is receptor which is linked to externally. Okay, this is inside, but this is externally linked to the effector enzyme. Okay, these receptors, okay, from these receptors the information is going to transfer, okay, further signaling mediator, that is called as adaptor protein. Okay, a component that receives a component, okay, this a component that receives info from receptor or from a receptor with enzymatic activity or from receptor which is linked to effector enzyme and transfer these info to further signaling mediator. Those are called as adaptor protein. For that I have made examples here. I'm discussing the examples here. GRB2. What is this GRB2? Long form is here, growth factor receptor bound protein 2. Okay, and the next one SHC. Here SHC means it is a phosphate tyrosine adapter. Okay, it is a phosphate tyrosine adapter. And the next one IRS. IRS means it is insulin receptor substrate. Okay, it is a insulin receptor substrate. Okay, these are the example for adaptor proteins. I'm hoping this one is understood. I will move to the next type of signaling mediator, that is very important one from type of signaling mediators, that is secondary messengers. Okay, now first we will learn the definition here. An intracellular component that receives info from effector enzymes and they are going to amplify, okay, they are going to amplify and transmit, the info to further signaling mediators are called as secondary messengers. Okay, for make you to understand, here you can understood by a definition from a diagram here. This is the plasma membrane or transmembrane. Okay, and this is the receptor. Okay, this is the receptor with an effector enzymatic activity. Okay, and as I told before, this is the distal portion and this is the exterior or proximal portion and this is the inside the cell. Okay, that's why it is called as intracellular component region. Okay, this is the intracellular component region. Here the secondary messenger, it is a intracellular component that receives the information from effector enzyme. Okay, from this effector enzyme And it is going to one very important word while we defining the secondary messenger, important word is amplifies. Okay, here what happens, this secondary messenger, just in short term I am writing it as a SM, this secondary messenger receives the information from effector enzyme. Okay, and then what it will do, it is going to amplify means it is going to multiply the information. Like if it is receives one information, it is going to amplify that information like this. Okay, it is going to multiply that information. Okay, and then it is going to transfer to the other signaling mediators. It is going to transfer the information to the other signaling mediator. Those type are called as secondary messengers. Okay, now we will look at the examples here. It may be, first one, it is that secondary messenger. What are those secondary messengers? Those secondary messengers may be an inorganic ion. It may be an inorganic ion, for example Ca+, okay, or it may be an organic compound, okay, organic compound of an enzymatically catalyzed reaction. For example, first example is cyclic AMP, cyclic adenosine monophosphate. Okay, that is the example for secondary messenger. Next one, cyclic GMP, cyclic guanosine monophosphate, that is also example. Next one, cyclic di-AMP. Okay, and the next one CCMP and CUMP. Okay, these are the other two types of examples for the secondary messenger. Here CMP means cyclic cytidine monophosphate, and then cyclic uridine monophosphate. Okay, and this one cyclic di-AMP means diadenylate cyclase. Okay, diadenylate cyclase is the one, and here cyclic AMP, this is cyclic di-AMP means cyclic diadenosine monophosphate. Here cyclic AMP produces from effector enzyme called as adenylate cyclase, and then here cyclic GMP is going to produce from effector enzyme called as guanylate cyclase. And then this one cyclic di-AMP is produced from an effector enzyme called as diadenylate cyclase, and these two are produced by a soluble adenylate cyclase and guanylate cyclase. Okay, so these are the example. And then third type, these secondary messengers, other secondary messengers includes CADPR. What is this CADPR? Here it is cyclic okay, these are cyclic ADP ribose, and the second one is DAG means diacyl glycerol, IP3 means inosine triphosphate, then PIP3 means here phosphatidyl inositol. Okay, and then next example is ceramide, and the next example is phosphatidic acid is the next example. And we have some more examples here, that is sphingosine 1 phosphate, that is SPP, and then ROS means reactive oxygen species. These are also examples for secondary messengers. In future, the further these are going to become a secondary messengers. Okay, the possible candidates of secondary messengers include cyclic TMP, that is T means thymidine, and then next one is cyclic IMP, that is inosine. Okay, then cyclic XMP means xanthosine. These will be the secondary messengers. And again, these secondary messengers transport the inform to further mediators, signaling mediators, and also it may reach us to the targets also. I have given 4 types of end targets, right? I have discussed that in part 2 video. So you can learn those 4 types of important end targets which are very important, that is transport protein, genes, and then cytoskeleton. Okay, you can learn all those things, and such as ion channels and enzymes and a protein kinases. Okay, this is the function of the secondary messengers. And the next type of signaling mediator is protein kinases. We will learn this protein kinases in the next video as a part 5 video. And if you learn something from this video, please do share and subscribe. Thank you.